What's up everyone, Speedy here. In this 1v1 video, we're going to be doing 2 live games as well as 1 replay review. So let's get right into it. Okay, here we are in game number 1. Still fit too well. And I trolled. I actually had a beat there, and then I'd stopped really thinking, and as soon as I stopped thinking, I just gave him possession play like an idiot. So what we're going to do is play the kickoff well. Put shot pressure on, even if it's not super accurate. Try to get the bump. Force him to boom. Go sidewall. Just play faster than he's ready for it. There you go. You see how, like, if he's trying to set up on the wall and he's going slow, just that's a situation where just quickly going and forcing that pressure is really effective. I shoot it left side. That works. She does a good job of defending that. Dude, now I have to say that was probably one of the most well set up defensive plays I've done in a while. That was really well done, actually. Poor kickoff. Yeah, just got a bad speed flip there. And then landed really poorly too. It was like way too far on the side there. Can't really go for that corner boost there. It's just put me out of position. Pick up the wall, go down. I need to be flipping left if I'm going to go for the flip challenge there. Put pressure there. And there, what you want to do is let the opponent outplay themselves. You know they're going to be likely committing to that, so if you just let them commit through the flip and then get the touch like that, it becomes a lot easier. Crazy challenge. Nice. Good delay flick there. Getting the delay there, that kind of makes him awkward. If you just insta flick, it makes it easier for him to save. So if you delay it, force him to commit, and then go for the flick. Makes it harder for him to really get a chance to actually like do much with it. Not really too threatened. Yeah, that was poorly played on my part. Annoying that he got lucky with the position and he got a dribble out of that, because honestly that kind of ruined my setup, but all good. There we go. Get a kickoff goal back. Alright. Been definitely under the weather though for the past week, so if I seem a little off, that's probably why. Just gonna try to doink it. Very obvious play. First to give away a touch. He's gonna go for the aerial boom. I'm telling you, man, learn your double jump pops. They're so basic, but man, do they work. And GG. Well played. Here we are in game number 2. Wow. Talk about perfect bounce, huh? Nice challenge. And you get scored on for it. Let people be aggressive. One of the most common mistakes in ones is people just do that. They just ego chow without any awareness of whether or not it's a good challenge. That's a side flip. And shoot it right over. Nice. Start building a lead. If you have your first lead of the game, let's start building it. Man, really working those 3 brain cells really hard there, my guy. It's well done. Put a quick shot on. May not be exactly accurate, but it is going to put pressure on him. Unfortunately, that does go in. Put that flick on. And he's not going to position himself well to be able to cover for that. So there you just take time. You want to take time. Basically, you're just forcing pressure, and you're kind of putting him in an awkward spot, and you read from there how he's going to defend. Oh, woohoo! That's a perfect flick. He's overextending. Like, he's just playing way too much. Like, he's just not keeping it basic. Like, you don't need to overextend that much because you're swinging way across the play. You're going essentially out to in, and then you're going out into out, essentially. I kind of fuck up the kickoff there. But what's happening is essentially it's like you're going across all the way too much, and you're just overextending, and you're not giving yourself a chance to actually have a position that you can then defend from. Oh, that's okay. Well defended. I could have played that better, honestly. I didn't have to go for that shot. But I honestly didn't get so high on the ball. I would have actually been okay. Would have been able to get like better shot pressure. Take the freebie. Messes up his play. You don't necessarily want to rely on someone else's mistakes, but you do want to be aware of when they're going to commit, and then just be aware and respect it. If you respect it, oftentimes you're going to put yourself in a better position, because then you can actually like recognize whether or not a position's good or bad. Nice one. That was super brainless. Yeah, I expected that. GG. Okay, so here we are in the replay portion of the video. And definitely some good learning lessons this game in terms of just like things to make adjustments and improvements on. Definitely not a great start though. Definitely, I will also admit, I am quite rusty. I've not played a lot in the past quite a few days. I've been recovering from an illness ever since I got back from Worlds. I've been not feeling super well. This was the first like major mistake in the game. So really stems from just being too passive. So like here, once he gets that touch, I understand the idea of trying to like rotate back, but the problem is like giving him possession isn't ideal, and that kind of comes from the earlier mistake here. So this touch here, not getting close to it and just being aware the opponent was farther from it. I could have just easily gotten control of it and then placed either for 50-50 or just kind of literally taking possession for free at that point. I had full boost, so I had plenty of boost to work with. At that point, all I had to do was just go. You know, I didn't have to be this passive. Because I was so passive, I gave him all the space he needed, and he went for the air dribble. So it's a big mistake there. That's the first major mistake this game. I trolled the kickoff. I'd mess up my my touch, or not my touch, but my flip. I was like, okay, well, I might as well use it as an off-tempo kickoff, and it did work out. But was it a good kickoff? No. Was it a winning kickoff? It was in the moment, but it's not something I would try to train specifically. Do bump them. Don't really get a demo from it, but just having pressure is a good thing. Once again, I don't mind if he's going to try to take that boost. It's not really too scary. Here, I get free possession. Do get that boost. I can't commit here. So a common mistake, a very, very, very common mistake that people would make is they tunnel vision. So like right here, you see how I fake challenge? So my body language goes like this for a moment and then goes back. That is essentially what's called a fake challenge. So a common mistake would be, instead of faking like this and then shadowing, basically is just you commit. You think you have an opportunity for a shot, but in reality there never was an actual chance that you could have a shot. And all you're doing is just 50ing into somebody where at worst you just get super dunked. And then at best, maybe you get a neutral 50. Opponent decides to be aggressive here. Not a problem. And here is a fantastic recovery into an air dribble. This was beautiful though. This was like, it was actually one of those like shots that was like, okay, well, started off, you know, it's like, it's not how you start, it's how you finish type shots. It's literally what it was. It was like, okay, get control, you know, use air roll to just keep good control of like the flow of the ball, and then stop using air roll at times to just make it easier to make adjustments. So like here, you see how like I was able to get the adjustments, like, and then I stop, and then I make the follow-up touches. That was like what made that such a nice shot, especially the recovery off the wall. Like this was awkward already because of the nature of like the opponent's challenge. Like this literally came from the opponent's challenge, and then me having to make a quick touch, and I just was in the flow of it. I was like, okay, well, get the touch, and then correction touch, and then follow up. And that is like, that's how you end up getting like a really good shot out of that. And that works. Oh, it was a very well done shot. Side flip there. Yeah, that's a side flip. You can see how you kind of go like this. See, like the hand, essentially like watch my hand movement. A speed flip will actually go like this the whole time, right? Well, A side flip, essentially what happens is you go like this to set up for it, and then you flip like that, and it pushes you that way. That's a side flip. It goes in the same way. If you're speed flipping right, if you're trying to speed flip right, you're going left, and then you're going right like that. And that movement, that kind of zigzag, is slow. A speed flip doesn't have a zigzag. It is a true straight line like this. That is the best kind of speed flip you can get, is what is a straight line. That's why I lost this kickoff here. It's because I got to it slow. And I should have gotten scored on here. I got lucky that the opponent just missed, but I should have gotten scored on. Realistically. Opponent misses their boost. I didn't realize they missed boost until I saw them go back. I was like, okay, well, let's go for a quick shot pressure. I see they're awkward. Do my classic speedy 3-point turn, because, you know, sometimes you just got to do the 3-point turn. But it didn't really get boost. I can't really safely go for that mid boost. He also is apparently missing like every boost like 6 times in a row. I can tell he's going to challenge here. A lot of times people are over aggressive in the corners. Something you want to avoid doing if you're a Renzi is you're going to need to not be so aggressive in the corners. The corners are the safest place for your opponent. And so in a position like that, you want to avoid overcommitting. This could have gone in. Unfortunately, it did not. And at this point, I'm like, all right, let me block him, slow him down a little bit. Should be able to get that boost. I do. And then just keep going backwards. Just try to stay in the flow of rotation and movement. Don't put myself in a bad spot. Get the 50. Hold power slide here. Don't make the mistake of not holding power slide. If you know you're getting bumped, hold power slide. Whatever your power slide button is bound to, use it. And hold on to it just to make sure you have some momentum. It makes things easier. Opponent does a good job getting the flick there. At that point, they get possession. It's hard for me to recover, but it would have been a lot worse of a situation, a lot easier for the opponent to score if I didn't have any use of power slide. So could I have defended that better? Yeah. So at this point here, that challenge is dangerous. This is the mistake that kind of leads to that possession change really in a more dangerous way. It's because how early I jumped here. And it's also the nature of how I flip. I flipped in a way where I use a slight flip cancel and it actually pushes the ball off the wall. That's what gives it that outward bounce. He does a good job of kind of pushing me this way. And I should have actually stopped. I overextended at this point. I should have stopped and then stayed close to the ball. That would have made it harder for the opponent to actually like make the play. But generally speaking, you do want to avoid being over aggressive in the corners. It's not really a good place to find yourself. Typically, it will lead to negative situations for you offensively. But I was trying to get too fancy. Just keep it simple. Recognize what they're trying to go for. Let's be aggro here. And then just putting pressure, and then actually, what's funny is I get a bump on the guy, and it actually bumps him essentially into his net, which then actually hits the ball into it, which is what made it even funnier. I was like, kind of got a good chuckle out of that. Could have gotten a goal there. It's kind of a tricky angle just because of the nature of the touch. Would have been kind of tricky with momentum. And here, mistake again. Opponent is playing this high. He does a good job getting boost, but the problem is he's full committing and he's making it really obvious, so he's playing us way too fast and he's playing really high. He's not thinking about the fact that the ball could very easily be cut down, and he puts himself in a position where he just has zero recovery and he has no chance of being able to get back to it in time. That's something he needs to be really careful about in the future. A lot of times you want to be aware of what your opponent's going to typically play like. You have your own habits, and it is important for you to recognize when you're playing to a certain level of habits to try to change it up and adapt and adjust. That's how you often end up actually beating out opponents at a really high level, is oftentimes they will play based off your patterns. So if you change your patterns, it makes it harder for them to read, and then you end up actually winning more interactions from it. For example, if you fake challenge a lot, incorporate actual challenges into your play and add that extra flavor, if you will, as an ingredient to your play, and you'll actually find that oftentimes it's hard for an opponent to read. And for example, if you early flick a lot, if you decide to just single jump 50 instead, like you drop the ball down, the opponent is now like getting ready to pre-jump your potential flicks and ends up just not getting, you're not flicking. It ends up actually being a way to also outplay your opponent. So there's just little things you could do to improve how well you kind of pressure your opponent. Here, can't really overcommit. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna stay close. I don't mind kind of waiting here. Get this boost. I flip here. Once I see that he's trying to go across, I'm covering the close side to try to force him wide. It does work. I have to be careful about how I'm executing it. Here, same thing. Fortunately, I wasn't able to get close enough to the ball on the left side to cut it right. It just wasn't really an angle that I could like give it the cut it really should have like properly deserved. Here, this should have got me scored on. This is really poorly defended. If you want to defend this, you need to, like, if you fake here, pick a direction to stick with and then work with it. Essentially snaking back and forth is really dangerous here. It's a quick way to get yourself bumped. It's also a quick way to get yourself scored on, because if he flicked a little bit better, you would have had an easy time to go for it. Opponent stays aggressive here. So just kind of watching for the aggression. Not a problem for me, don't mind it. And at this point, he loses because he stops. He stops paying attention to what's going on, and then he just puts himself in a bad position. He can't recover in time to be able to save it. And then he ends up leaving afterwards. So definitely a lot of back and forth games this recording. The games I'm showing, of course, were the wins. The games I lost, I just didn't have focus, or I just played really, really poorly and it wasn't instructive. Unfortunately, that's kind of nature of being rusty. I am still recovering off a weird illness where after I got back from Worlds, by the time you're seeing this is Friday, so I'm going to the doctor the day this is being released. Get checked out and see what's going on. Essentially, it's like a weird, like very, very heavy pressure, like dull pressure pains in my upper back left neck, like up here, and then also my left eye has been feeling the same kind of pressure at different varying levels. Yesterday got worse, kind of felt a little bit better today, but just kind of feeling not good. Got sick last Friday, a week ago, wasn't feeling well. And unfortunately, just kind of haven't been able to play as much as I would have wanted. It's been kind of weird. So I've been shortening my play sessions a little bit just to kind of take it easy. And I've also been in bed a lot. So I'm just trying to recover from there. Otherwise, though, making the best of the situation, doing what I can. Also, don't forget, guys, I posted my vlog not last week, just Monday. So if you guys want to check it out and haven't had a chance to see it, I'll have it already linked in the video description as well. So if you're interested, go ahead and check that out. It's an awesome vlog. It is my World's experience, and I think if you haven't already, you will definitely enjoy it. That being said, though, if you enjoyed watching this video and you want me to review your games, let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And if you enjoyed watching this video, make sure you hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Speedy Man out.